Oh, great, yeah.
They go big into the upper zone as well as the lower zone.
Your capital letters tell much about yourself. In fact, in your signature, your capital letters will typically be 2.5 to 4 times bigger than the lower zone. So we'll get something like Edward with a big and then little word here. The big capital shows a healthy ego, a strong sense of self. When it becomes crazy, that's Dan, this person has now become egotistical. They're desperate to make a presentation. It's overdone. It's way too big. And if it's a small cap, you're getting modesty, the other end. That's why my wife's signature, I said it matches her handwriting exactly with small caps. She's modest, she's forthright, she's in your face. She says what she means. Yes?
What if you do the I with no dot?
The I with no dot is, it's the trait of memory. It's lack of concentration and lack of memory. Things will start falling through the cracks that will be forgotten. Same with T's. Lady here.
What if the lowercase I looks like an E and then has a dot?
The lowercase I is like this with a dot. That's very interesting. Because the I is the letter of detail, remember what do loops contain? Imagination, right? So they're adding imagination to the details they see. This is someone who will often think they got other people figured out, but they're wrong. It's in their imagination. Oh, I know her. Oh, I know exactly what she was going to say. But they don't. They're seeing stuff out there that isn't actually there. It's internally created. Yes?
So what if you have a word with both cursive and print in the same word?
Both cursive and print within words is very common. It's called print writing. And it's speedy, it's quick, it's an easy way to write, and it's an easy way to express yourself clearly. When it is problematic is when we see one word printed in the midst of other words written. So we're saying, David, okay, pretend that says David, said to me, and we got this huge printed word in the middle. That is a trait, an absolute trait of criminality. That's found in criminal writing all the time. All the time. There's a lot of things that are found in criminal writing, but that's a great one. You see that, you see felon's clause with it. Yes?
The capital R printed in the middle of a word, is that the same as the K?
All the bets aren't in on what the capital R is in the middle of a word. R, anytime you're seeing a capital that doesn't belong there, the rule is, when you see, this is one of the few things that will show up even in an email. Someone sends you an email and they've got a lot of words capitalized that don't need to be capitalized. And what that is the desire to be seen as important in the eyes of others without having earned it. Wanting to jump right there. Anytime you're seeing capitals that don't belong. A cool one is the letter R when it's done like a flat top. So say someone writes a word like treat and the R is like that. See how it's flat on top? This is the number one indicator of building and mechanical ability with the hands. The guys who are very handy, women who are very handy, you'll have flat-topped R's, flat-top connectors between words. This is the key stroke. I was speaking at the Ontario Police Academy, and one cop said, "What does my writing show?" And I looked, and he had all these flat-topped R's all the way through it. And I said, "Well, you've sure got a lot of building ability." He said, "I don't think so." And his buddy leaned over and said, "And what is that $4,000 brick structure in your backyard that you call a garden shed?" He said, "Well, I do a bit of bricklaying." Thought it didn't count, right? It's always there. So remember, your go to hell K is going to appear in the writing as too large. If the R, if you get a flat-topped R that is really high, this is a desperate need to use the hands, to be physical, to use the physical body, to make some shifts. In fact, you can tell a lot about your physical health by where problems show up in the zones. Because if this is a human, and we're going to pretend it is, we got legs, and just imagine the naughty bits are there as well. So we have upper zone is in the head, middle zone is the thorax and upper abdomen, lower zone is the wedding tackle and the legs. So when you see problems developing in the upper zone, like for instance, you may see with kids, their writing gradually getting smaller over time. If you've got a teenager and the writing is gradually becoming smaller, especially if she's female, get her to a doctor, because it's the number one indicator of anorexia developing. The handwriting begins to shrink, which is kind of weird. Well, with this, if someone has upper zones and there's spaces in letters like that, see the gap in that upper loop? Upper zone cracking up, person cracking up. This is the mind up here. And Marilyn Monroe's writing just before she died, you take a look at her signature, it's just falling apart because she's falling apart. The pen is being lifted, her anxiety is so great, and it will be in the upper zones. If the person has lower zones with these same gaps, this kind of thing, that's often problems with sex organs. If a woman's had a hysterectomy recently, the lower zones will start to look odd for a while as she's healing. If men have become impotent or whatever, they're going to show in the lower zones where the problem is. Someone over here saw a hand. No? Oh yes, the same man over there.
What about question marks and punctuation, exclamation marks?
Good question. The only thing I know about punctuation with it is when someone writes, and we got 1 minute left, and then we're taking a break. When someone writes something, and they sign their name and they put a line under it and then a dot after the line. That's the only case I know of. It emphasizes the underlined signature. It's, here's me, nothing else. So it's like final. And the dot will add to the underline. But that's the only one I know of other than the ones that are built into the letters.